Hello there. Let me see if this thing's working. Let me see on the it's doing actually the thing it's supposed to do. And looks like it's doing the thing it's supposed to do. So, um, yeah. I knew it was coming. I could feel it every single day. It's like getting worse. And nobody knows what to do about it. That gastro, rheumatologist, primary care, nurses who have seen all kinds of stuff. And one nurse, even an ER doctor, Doctor Sushi, like sushi, like the Japanese raw fish dish sushi, called me a zebra. I was like, so January 1st, 2nd is when I had my latest death experience. Woke up in the hospital. I still have not been able to recover from that, but I've been making a lot of strides, and they still have no idea where all the blood came from. But I vomited a lot of blood. So woke up in the middle of the night, huge head rush, vomited a whole hell of a lot of blood. I mean, I need like $1,000 to fix my rug carpeting from that stain. Never had anything like that happen before in my entire life. I mean, I had, all right, so one time when I was like maybe 15, yeah, it was about 15, and we went to a Chinese restaurant with a group of friends, and I ate something I had never eaten before, and got home. It all settled, and I had projectile vomiting, like The Exorcist. Right, that was the only other thing in my entire life that I could even relate to. But back then, it was food poisoning. Okay, that made sense. My body didn't agree with what I ate. So, but this one this year was completely different because I lost so much blood. They couldn't find a tear inside anywhere, and they they decided to chalk it up to uh, they call it an alcoholic cirrhosis liver. But I don't drink that much. I'll have a few beers. Back in 20 years ago, when I was in you know high school, late high school, yeah, we would go to a keg. I mean, that was like maybe once a blue moon, once a month or something like that. Not all the time, but um, you know, my you can look at I can look at my test results from it's about 15 years ago. It was the first time I had any kind of uh, full blood workup, and my liver enzymes are the same 15 years ago as they are now. And so I'm like, okay, maybe it's cirrhosis of the liver, but it's not alcohol induced because I wasn't drinking alcohol like 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 that. So they try to write me off. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to figure this out. And that's when I was looking at those markers from January from a while back, and they were very similar. I'm like, this isn't alcoholic cirrhosis of the liver. This is something else. And so I saw some markers in January when I was looking at them. I looked up some tests, and I was like, this is very odd. Well, I had to go back to work, so I was working, and I was working hard, but for whatever reason, the uh, the blood transfusion. So I'm A positive blood type, and they gave me a universal donor blood type when I had the blood infusion. Uh, they're like, well, this is the quickest thing we had to get a hold of. We couldn't go searching around. We had to do universal donor. I get it, makes sense, but they didn't tell me that right away. Well, since I'm a zebra, I asked my doc. I said, "What are the chances that my body rejected that blood donation that I received by a universal donor because of my blood type within weeks?" And it was like every day from mid-January till, or the very first couple second days of February, my body was swelling up every single day. So it's very unheard of, but what I have is very unheard of also. 200 people at any given time may present what I have, uh, and the docs actually see it. And most of the time, that if there's a unusual death and they can't figure anything out, they'll possibly check for it. And it's not hereditary or anything that I can find. It's just something that a zebra gets. And I'm a zebra. Doctors see horses all day, and they never see zebras. So that's when I got termed as a zebra, because they never see a zebra. And it's funny when I talk to nurses and I'm trying to explain everything I've been through, and they don't usually like to listen. But when they see my chart and I tell them my story, they start to listen. And I say, I'm a zebra. I've been called that before. And once a couple of them heard that, I said, do you know what a zebra is? Yes, I know what a zebra is. And I don't give them a hard time, because they know I know what a zebra is, and I'm not asking for special treatment. But you got a zebra on your hand, you would think that you'd have a little bit more curiosity to deal with your zebra, because maybe it's a case study for you. Maybe it's going to go into your maybe there's going to be a journal, uh, a peer reviewed article or a case study of somebody who knows they're a zebra with 7 autoimmune disorders all working in harmony, that only presented itself in the mid 40s. But there were other things that, even at first birth, I think 6 weeks old, they called it meningitis. But like, I was on the brink of death at 6 weeks old, and snapped out of it within very quickly. So at the beginning of the year, they figured out that I do have 7 different. I had 2 doctors confirm it, both specialists confirm. There's 7. One of them said, "Well, these are the higher marker." They got 3 of the 7 that are higher markers, and these are the 3 that it was anti-inflammatory, basically. Uh, Hydroxychloroquine, you know, for the rest of my life, or at least until we figure something else out. But I've been taking it for like 2 months now, no problem, and I'm actually starting to get some sleep because I'm not waking up like, oh, pain everywhere. The inflammation has gone down, and I've been, working out. I've done everything I can to keep my weight off. I eat like 6 to 8 apples a day. I'm just eating turkey, vegetables. I'm having some sodium, so I'm not on the reduced sodium as much. No sugar. I don't eat sugar or anything. I can eat a whole lemon, and it tastes so sweet. Try cutting out sugar for a week. So eat. So when you're so anybody listening, go try to take one lemon wedge. You're gonna be like that. Then cut sugar out completely for a week. Even bread. Cut out bread. Go from like a hoagie to a wrap, and you cut out a lot of sugar that way, carbohydrates and whatnot. And then within a week, 10 days, you're going to be able to eat a whole lemon, and it's going to taste so sweet because you're not eating raw refined sugar or whatever, brown sugar, or whatever the sugar is that you may consume, even in baked goods, that sort of thing. It's got sugar, 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 sugar. So once I cut that out, and the only trade off is that lemon has a high acidity level, so it might give you heartburn on the transition. But once you get used to it, the heartburn subsides. So for uh, for me, the zebra effect is I lay down and I had a stress test today. My heart rate is typically like 115 over 80 something, like somewhere in that range. But when I lay down for about 5 minutes and then I stand up, my heart blood pressure plummets to 80 over 60, and I get this huge head rush. It's just rushing. And I did the test in a controlled environment with Cat Junior, and I said, "All right, we're gonna prove this." And sure enough, I laid there 5 minutes, did the blood pressure 115 over 80 something consistently throughout the 5 minutes. Every I think it was like at least 2 times, and then I stood up. So I still had the thing hooked up. Did the blood pressure as soon as I stood up, and I got the head rush. I said, "Put your hand on my shoulder. Don't let me pass out." So I'm standing there, and blood pressure went down to 80 over 60, just like that. And so while I'm doing the stress test today, my heart rate was consistently around 120. And I said, "So what's your what do you normally see someone my age what is their heart rate? It's like 60 to 80. I said, have you ever really seen anybody 120? She's like, very rarely, and they're usually very stressed out. Okay, so I went to go do the stress test, and my target was to get the blood pressure rate up to 147. And she's looking at the thing. She's like 120, and then I stood up and I went to go stand on the thing and went up to like 125. She's like, okay, just calm down, calm down. Went back down to about 120. And then she had to go check with the doctor. She's like, it's not going to be very long until he hits 147 from 120. What do you want to do? He's like, well, let's see how high it'll go. After, give him like 3 or 4 minutes. Don't let him pass out. Right? We got a zebra on our hand. See what happens. And they're experimenting on me, and I understand that. And so I'm experimenting on myself as well. And it's all consent driven. I understand that. So I wanted to see what would happen with their machine. They got all these electrodes and wires and things, and the strap and the things hooked up the machine. It's going up and down like that. And I'm on the thing, and she's like, well, I'm going to add some more. You're going to walk uphill. And so I'm on the treadmill like a mouse. And very slowly, very, very slowly, going from 120, 124, 127, and then about a minute and a half in, I get to 147. Boom. Target. And then she looks at me, she's like, you want to keep going? I'm like, yeah, let's keep going. See how high it goes. 155 after 3 minutes. And she's like, that's all I feel comfortable doing. I'm like, I was like, I'm a zebra. She's like, no, you sit down. That's it. Okay. Sat down. It took me about 2 minutes to go from 155 back to down to 120. I was just like, namaste. But of course, there I sat with 120 and same blood pressures, like 115 over 80. I said, well, let me do what I experimented with at home and show that on this machine here. It's like, well, we don't do that here. You don't check the heart rate. I'm like, okay, boggling my mind. I'm a zebra. I'm telling you one thing, that I've already tested it and proven it, and I would like the results from your technical machine that I'm paying a lot of money for. I didn't say it out loud, but I did make my case. I said, well, since I'm already here and I'm hooked up, you've got a bed right there. It's like, well, we don't do that here. Okay. And so that doc, he looks at the results, and he didn't even remember that I have a calcification in my carotid artery. I had to bring it up a couple times. He's like, oh, well, I'm looking at this test here. And he's looking at a different test that doesn't show the actual blockage. He's just looking at this thing where, I don't know. I'm not sure what he's looking at. He's like, there's nothing that bad. But of course, the nurse that was doing the test, she saw the x-ray and she says, I've never seen anybody so young your age that looks this bad, which is why my rheumatologist. So my doc keeps sending me to these guys, and they're all so busy because they're the best. Well, they're not the fucking best because, I'm sorry for my cussing, because they're not listening to me. I had to go to the one GI, and he didn't even want to take the test to find the autoimmune disorder. And so I had to go find my own doc who would actually listen to me, very young, awesome lady. And I said, no, I saw, I had to show her. I'm like, so all this blood work, it shows this pattern that shows an autoimmune disorder. And autoimmune is it's not contagious. HIV, that's contagious. It's autoimmune, something you're born with. It's not contagious. You can't, cut your blood and that sort of thing. I'm not going to sneeze on somebody and give them what I got. Uh, that's not what it is. It's uh, a zebra issue, right? So I told her, I was like, I see this. She looked at it and she's like, okay, I can track that. Let me order a test to check on it. Snip the polyp out. And this is when I was like real, still reeling before I really started to, work out and get back and be where I am now. So she found it, seven different, uh, seven different autoimmune disorders working in concert with each other, unheard of, except for 200 people at any given time living that they actually look for it for. And when they find an unexplained death, they, family may say, hey, well, can you, really check into this and check that? Then that's when they'll find it. And it's very rare that that happens. So it's not like they look into this thing. There's no research on it. So everybody's kind of experimenting on me right now at this point. The zebra, what does the zebra respond to? But I figured out that I have an autoimmune disorder. I don't have a heart issue, and that got proven today. And I sincerely believe that whatever is causing me to, when I stand up and stroke out, is definitely a blood flow issue. Oh, geez. The longer I sit down, every time I come down, I sit down and get stuffed up. And I don't think that has to do with anything with my zebra issue. Maybe it does. Maybe I got a thing in my environment. But I think I keep it pretty clean. And it's been the same for 10 years. Been the same setup. I just change pictures every now and then, change the backdrop now. But everything else has been the same for 10 years. Wipe stuff down, wipe the TV down, get some Glass Plus to wipe the screen off and windows and things. So I'm in limbo. He wants me to go see a brain doctor. Like, it's not my brain. My brain's fine. I don't forget things. This is actually working better since I've changed my diet. Changed my diet, working out. I deal with a lot of people every day, and as soon as they call me up, I answer cold calls. They call me up. Hey, you were out of my job, or you gave me a quote, or crews call me up and they're like, hey, what's going on with this? And I'm like, can you describe me what I wrote there? And as long as they describe what I wrote there, like, oh, that one. Well, yeah, that's in the back right, and that's this is what we're gonna have to do for them. And I talk it through with them, same with the client, the customer, and anybody else involved in the whole job process. I clicks right away. That's how I remember stuff, by the way I write it. So I don't even have to go look in where I wrote it or what address it was or anything like that. But as soon as they say, well, it's this on right here and this and that's the description, and this is the price. Like, oh, yeah, 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 yeah. So I'm on point. So it's not a brain issue. It's a when I stand up from laying down for a long time issue. And I know that when I sit up after I'm laying down for a while, that it's not going to build up. The blood flow will go to my brain and I'll be fine. But when I'm dead asleep, I'm having a dream, and I just need to go run to the bathroom real quick. A couple times it's happened. I forget that I need to let the blood flow. I go run to the bathroom, and then the spins kick in. So last night I stroked out. I went to the bathroom, stumbling all around the bathroom, and I was like, oh shit, survival instinct kicked in. And I was like, I have to get out of this hard surface. I have to go find a soft spot. And I was able to stumble my way to lay down on some fluffy cushions. And I don't even know how long I was out for. I didn't look at the clock because I didn't wake up and look at the clock. I woke up, I had to pee. And while I was peeing, the blood flow's going, standing up, discombobulated. I didn't know what was going on because I forgot completely. I'm just like, I don't want to pee on myself. So evacuation order is in first effect, and then self-preservation is in second order to myself. So I was able to stumble around the bathroom. I'm pretty sure I've got some bruises somewhere. To get out of there and get towards a comfy environment. And I literally seized up once I was in a space. And when I woke up or came to, and this wasn't a death experience. I've had death experience. I've died. So in death experiences are completely different. This was something different because death experiences, you go out there and you enjoy the world. This was something where I was seized and I was staring. I remember my eyes being open, not knowing what the hell was going on. And my brain was just not getting a flow. And luckily enough, I came out of it on time so that when I did come to, I was able to actually breathe. Once I started breathing, sat up, I was all right. And so, yeah. Hopefully, I left a message for my doc, my main doc, my primary doc. It's like, look, I don't think I can do another one of these. And of course, after I woke up, I didn't need to go to the ER because I was fine. Came to all my logic and everything came back to me real quick. And I was fine. Motor functions were great. Recall was great. But once I was able to breathe, the blood started moving again. Just fine, but I don't know if I had gone on for like much longer. And of course, he wants me to go see a neurologist. I'll go see a neurologist after I get whatever this blood flow is taken care of. And he said there's like for this blockage, he said it's just like a straw. So when you pinch a straw, the blood flow doesn't go properly. It makes a whole lot of sense. So my blood is not flowing properly right from here up into my noggin. So if I have any issue with my brain, it's because my blood's not flowing right up there. And I told him, and I guess I'll hear back in the morning, but I told him, I said, I was right about the autoimmune. I was right, it's not my heart. And I know I'm right that whatever blockage this is, it's causing the blood flow to my brain to be decreased when I'm resting. And you can see that because the normal heart rate's 80. Mine's consistently like 115, 120, somewhere in that range. Doesn't take me very long to get up to 147. Not much longer to get up to 155. And I'm still not that, because I'm so used to it by now, I'm still not overcome by my heart rate being 155. I'm like, all right. She's like, no, I'm not comfortable going any further with this. And I'm like, come on, this is a stress test. Let's stress this out. Let's do it. So she's never seen that before, this from the zebra. She's never seen that before, I guess. Because I was like, let's keep going. Let's stress it out. I don't think she wanted to have to call 911 and take me right across the street to the hospital where they know exactly who I am and what's happened to me before with my hospital stays. So so they want to put it on somebody else, and I understand that. Nobody wants to deal with a zebra. That's why my GI sent me back to my primary care. My primary care is the only one I trust, so he sent me to the best cardiologists. And, well, he doesn't know what to do with me. So I guess he talked back to Dr. Mike. He's like, you need to send this guy to a brain doctor. And, well, that's where I'm at right now. But I was like this close away. So if I'm a cat and I got 9 lives, I'm on probably pretty much number 7 or 8. So I think I got maybe 1 or 2 more in me. If I do have 1 or 2 in me, because I lost count a long time ago. I might have 1 or 2 more lives in me to get this one keep moving. Yep. But I figured everything else out. If I don't make it tomorrow, the next day, there's a plan in place to, I don't think anybody's going to mourn or cry or anything like that for me, unless you don't know me. And this sounds like a sob story to you, but everybody I know knows me well enough by now that I'm good, and that I love you. And I'm doing the best I can. I'm making a huge effort. Making an effort. So, yeah. It's up to God. And that was awesome. I went to church for like a couple days in a row before I went to go get this stress test. And I heard a lot of good messages, saw a lot of good people, and it brings my heart joy that there are so many good people still out there. And It's something to live for. It is. And I've done everything I can so far. So it's in God's hands, and uh, figure that out. So if I'm gone, this is the last one. Said the same thing. I think yesterday I said the same thing. I shouldn't have made it through last night until this morning. I should have been gone. I was laying here, seized up, but I wasn't. I wasn't dead. It wasn't a death experience. It was some sort of body reaction to lack of blood flow. So I wasn't dead because I know what it's like, and I saw nothing. There was nothing there. My eyes were open. I just couldn't move, couldn't speak, even if I wanted to. I was paralyzed. So, I mean, maybe Bell's palsy. I don't know, but that is actually one of the symptoms of one of the autoimmunes. So, I'm gonna do whatever I can to keep on rolling, baby. Rolling, rolling. I don't have like really good song or anything like that. That was just I had to I had to just get that out. You know, you got to speak out loud sometimes. You got to speak out loud, and um, not even going to listen to myself. I'm just going to hold this if anybody, because I feel like maybe I'm just journaling this. So if you want to go back and someday see my mindset if I'm not around, here you go.